Hey everybody, Leo here with another trade recap video. This trade is of an NQ long position I had taken on the 3-minute time frame on December 12th. So, jumping right to the cut here, I sort of set this chart up to make it easier to explain for all of you, but we have our 200 EMA, our 50 SMA, and some resistance levels that I had marked. So here on NQ, we can see that market actually had a bit of consolidation from this 5:30 window up until around 7 a.m. when market finally decided to make a drastic move to the upside. And so we see here that market ended up creating some heavy resistance at 21,637.75 prior to making a beautiful bullish leg up towards this 21,738.75 where market ended up creating another heavy resistance level. So where did I end up taking my trade? Well, I honestly just didn't take any long position here on NQs. I didn't have much confidence in taking any long positions, but we can see here that because of such an aggressive move to the upside, NQ actually formed a beautiful fair value gap here on this 3-minute time frame. So where I ended up capitalizing on my trade is we see that after rejecting off of this 21,700 resistance, NQ decided to pull back down below 200 EMA and 50 SMA prior to retesting this fair value gap. And for those of you that have gotten a few of my recap videos before, you know how much I love to play off of the rejections of fair value gap or fair value gap encroachment levels. That's sort of center resistance in a lot of those gaps. So we see here that NQ had finally retested this fair value gap with this beautiful sell candle here prior to a nice engulfment bullish candle, and so I ended up entering my trade with the anticipation of NQ rejecting off of this fair value gap. So we see here on this red circles where I had taken my trade entry at the start of this green candle with the anticipation of NQ pulling up to higher highs or retesting this 21,700 resistance as I had mentioned previously. And so I had entered with my position in my long position with my stop loss being just a little bit below this fair value gap. As I mentioned in a lot of my other recap videos, you know that I tend to do this a lot with my fair value gap positions, whether or not it's a bullish or a bearish move. I put my stop loss a little bit below that fair value gap to the side I'm playing, because if NQ had decided it had the strength to break through this fair value and this encroachment level, chances are that NQ was going to continue to pull to lower lows until it retested this 21,600 resistance here. So here we go. I'd entered my long position on NQ. Entered here, full size my position the second that we had that full confirmation of bullish volume pushing NQ to that highs. And we see here that NQ had pulled above that 50 SMA and that 200 EMA. And for this trade, I didn't have a lot of confidence staying super long in it. So I decided to make my max take profit, as in, you know, sell out of 100 of my position at this 200 EMA, which we see ended up acting pretty well for me since NQ pulled to this 50 SMA, broke above it, smashed that 200 EMA, and then ended up having a bit of resistance around that 200 EMA before finally retesting this 21,738.75 resistance, where we see here market actually had not one, not two, but three rejections prior to pulling back down to this fair value gap and rejecting again before finally buyers just did not have enough strength in market and sellers were able to outbid the market and pull NQ to new daily lows. So there's my trade recap from the 12th of December at 9 a.m. and I hope you all enjoyed. Have a good one.